Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another video. This is an inspired video. I watched this a long time ago and had saved it in a to do soonish playlist, and it is a tag with flips using one letter size piece of paper. I saw this over Jean over at Inky Owl Studios, so I will link that video down below so you can check her out and go over there and show the love there, because she was the one that I saw it on. But I wanted to go ahead and pass on the joy and the inspiration of this. It's a super easy project, very functional, and I'm going to do a little bit some twists on it, but let me show you what I made off camera. So this is an old template. I tried it on white paper. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, but this is what it looks like. So I went ahead and put a eyelet and some seam binding and a rusty paper clip to hold it closed, but it basically flips out like this. It's all one page. I just glued my paper on to a piece of cardstock, which I believe is probably about 65-pound cardstock. That is craft color. So that's what it looks like. I'm toying around with the idea of doing magnets because I am covering this with paper. If I did that though, I would have to put paper here, and I didn't on this one because I thought it was perfect writing space, right? So you could do that however you choose. I'm not sure how elaborate I'm going to get in today's video. A paper clip works just fine. I am going to do one where we glue it down and we use it as a tuck. So that's my thought process anyway. So this one measures, and my template that I'm going to show you here is based on the measurements that I did here. So this measures, I believe it was 6 3/4 inches high by the tag base being 3 3/4 ish. And then the other dimensions we'll talk about here as we work through it. I have my eyelet setter, eyelets, corner rounder, and ink. And it is, what day is it? Saturday, June the 19th. I have a 3-day weekend due to the holiday on Monday. And so I'm still in my pajamas and it's 12:30. But dinner is in the crock pot, so I'm making a Weight Watchers style taco soup, so super happy about that. And on that personal note, guys, I went back to some old tracking when I originally started losing the weight, which was November the 20th, and I've lost 17 pounds. So that's 17 pounds in 2 months. So my goal is 40 pounds by my 60th birthday, which is in May. I don't think I'm going to have any trouble making that. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. So on with the show. Also my scissors. I've got my cutters over here as well as my score tool over there, which we'll grab and I'll bring it into camera. And so let's look at our template here. We're going to be doing some cutting with my knife and my beautiful mat. So happy with this. I played around with it off camera and I am loving it. And a corner tag template. So these are the papers we're going to be using. So I did print these ones on just, I think this is a 32-pound paper, fairly thin. So we're going to be making 2 on camera. So I've got 2 of each, just in case I bump into a problem. I don't like to have to stop the video to print more paper. So I'm going to go ahead and just set those over there for when we're ready for them. And feeling all discombobulated for some reason. These are extra bits, so cards and such, depending on what we end up doing. I thought I'll just go ahead and bring them out. I definitely want to use that one, but I'm not exactly sure how. I probably need to think about though that though before we start, because these bigger ones can only go in the one that we make a side tuck. So I do want to keep that one out so that I keep that in the front of my mind actually probably that one and one more. So let's find another one that we could do that with to make it go tucked into a pocket. I thought this one was also really pretty, but look at this one. Oh, love it. All the kits will be linked in the video description box, so you can check that out. If you are interested in any of them, they will all be linked. Again, as I've mentioned, it's a lot of work for me to prep all of the stuff beforehand. So, and I know many of you are not bothered by that as long as they are linked. So I also have two pieces of cardstock. This is the craft cardstock I just mentioned. And here is our template. So I decided to go ahead and use the craft cardstock because I can print my images on a lighter paper, and then I can control the space that I want to have for writing space. So that's why I did that with my sample. And so basically what I did is, this is 10, it started out as 11 inches by 8.5 inches. I cut it down to 6 3/4. So all of these, this is all 6 3/4 inches high, but depending on how you want your flips and flops to look will determine where you score and where you cut these pieces off, because this is going to get cut off, this is going to get cut off, this is going to be cut off, and this is going to be cut off. Okay, so you want to think about that. And I didn't ink this so you could see it, but that's my score line. So I decided I wanted this area to be 3.5 by, oh, I didn't give that measurement. Hold on, let me fix this. It is 3.5 inches tall. Nope. Yes. Nope. It is 3 3/4 inches by 3.5. So I cut that to 3 and, what did I just say? 3 3/4. Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. 3 3/4. Okay. So that's this section here, which will make more sense when we do the real thing. This one is a little bit bigger. It is 3 inches wide, but it is a little bit taller just because of the way I wanted to do it. So it is 3 by 4 3/4. So I will put this in the photos at the end. Just some quick notes. This is what you cut off, cut off, cut off, cut off. This is your score line, score line, score line, score line, and then your tag shape if you want to make it look like a tag. So if you guys want to grab a screenshot, you can also do that. It's a little bit easier to see if you have the photo, so I'll make sure that's included. So I'm going to set that over there so I can have it for reference. I don't need both of the papers right now, so I'm going to set that outside, and let's do this. So I've got to move everything because I am going to bring the big mama over for doing my scoring and cutting, but I do need to keep the ink available here. And everything else can go bye-bye for the moment. Okay, so we're going to bring over, I'm not sure why I have the big cutter out. Sometimes it's more accurate, but I think I did okay with just using my cutter with the scoring tool. So we're going to cut this down. So this is you want to cut the bit off the bottom, the lengthwise, so widthwise rather. And so we're going to just stick this in the cutter and cut it at 6 3/4. So that's my spot there. So that's 6 3/4. I'm going to save that because we might do something with that. And then this is where we start our scoring. So based on our template, which I need to unbury again, we are going to score, the first score from left to right is how I arrange these. We're going to score at 3.5. I'm just second guessing. You know, I only did this like, 20 minutes ago. My sample. Oh my gosh. Yes, 3.5. Yes, 3.5. Trust yourself, Cara-Renee. 3.5. So we're going to score the first one at 3.5, and I'm going to ink in between each of these scores so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So that's our first fold. So let me get my ink out here. And we'll go ahead and just give that a fold. Because then you can see where your next score line needs to be. So I forgot to talk about the tag base. So I decided I want my tag base to be 3 3/4 inches wide. You'll want to determine that before, obviously, you start scoring. If you're going to do this exactly, this is what you want to do. 3 3/4 is our next score line. So this one's a little tricky because I can't see all those lines up there, so I have to kind of line it up to the 3 3/4 and then slide it up so I can actually do it. So again, perfection is not at play, so just go for it. So 3 3/4, okay, we'll ink that up. Okay. And then I chose to cut off some. So I only want this section to be 3 inches because I want it to be smaller than the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and just line that up with the 3 and trim off. Oh, whoops, we want to cut it, not score it. Cut that one off so that this equals 3 inches. Okay. So now we're at the place where we're going to start doing our score line. So this is our scores up here to determine what we want our flaps to look like, which is this and this. Okay, so you can decide how high you want them and all of that. So I'm going to stick this in here. Actually, I have found it easier to go ahead and just do my measurements ahead because it can be tricky when you get on this side of the blade to manage that, in my opinion. So I'm going to scoot that out of the way. And I'm going to follow this. So on our short side, which is this one, which is only 3 inches, I'm going to score that at 1 inch. Okay, so I'm just going to make a pencil mark here. Okay, and then a pencil mark down here because it's all on the same side that we want it to be scored at 1 inch. Okay, so I've got a tick mark here and a tick mark here, and I'll be scoring on that line. Over here, I want it to be 1.5 inches. So I'm going to turn this and I'm going to go ahead and make a mark for 1.5 inches. Again, any size that you want, it's up to you on your project. So you can, there's so many variations you could do with this. It's brilliant. Okay, not my brilliance, her brilliance. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and score. So I'm just going to score on this thicker side, so the 1.5, the larger panel. And this does not have to be perfect, guys. If you get it off, don't fret. So I'm just going to score up to that inked line, okay? And I'm going to move down. Well, actually, it's hard for me to do that, so I am going to turn it, guys, so that I can actually see that mark, and you guys can see it a little bit better as well, okay? And don't worry if you go over that other line. I haven't found that to be a problem. So those are our 2 score lines there. Let's continue with these ones, and then we'll do our cutting. So I've got my 1 inch mark there. And I'm going to turn it again. And we're going to do this up here. Get that score blade up. I'm loving this cutter lately. Super nice. Okay, and there we go. You do want to make sure you get it enough over though, so you don't bump into a problem. So we should be good and done with that for now. And so now we're going to, I'm going to try to ink this. It's a little bit tricky, but I want you guys to be able to see how I'm deciding where to cut. Because if you don't cut on the inside of the score line, it will be weird. So we're just going to do this. I didn't do this when I was playing around, and I had some problems. I had to manually trim some things, but that's not a big issue either. You just don't want to hard crease this because you don't want to have those creases show. So there we go. So we're cutting off this, this, and this. So I'm going to get my blade and my metal ruler. Okay, and let's have some fun cutting. So I like to do it so that I have this in the corner. I'll turn this one because I need to be able to see this line because this is a new way to do this for me. So I'm going to the inside of the other side of the, so if I were looking at it like this, I'd be going cutting on the right side of the score line. So just in case I'm making this more confusing than it needs to be, just slightly, okay, because that scoring creates a it changes the paper, so hopefully that makes sense. And then we're going to do the same here. We're going to cut across here, and I'm keeping that in my view. This one's not as important because it's not going to be, it can be covered by the paper. So if you're using a digital, you could totally use a digital. I just didn't like the way the digitals looked for me, so that's why I didn't use them. So now let's go ahead and do this edge. And I'm going to do the same with this, and I will just turn on a little bit of music for a quick bit. Okay, we should be good. Oh, I didn't do that. I went on this side of it and not the other side. So let me show you what I mean here. So I needed to go on the inside of that score line instead of the outside. So I can't hold it up close just due to the focus issue, but I'm just going to trim that off. And it's easily fixed. So if you bump into that problem, it's not game over or anything. So everything else looks pretty good. Okay, so then that's going to fold in. Let me get a bone folder here so I can really get this to lay flat before we start doing the rest of our business here. And see, I've got a little bit here that's not straight, so I'm going to go ahead and use my fussy cut scissors and just nip that right there. Same here, you're going to fold that over. I've got the same issue up here. I did not do what I said I was going to do, but again, that's okay because I can show you how you fix it. So I don't know if you guys can see that. We've got that little lip, and that's just because I cut on the wrong side of the score line. Not a problem. There we go. Okay, let's cap this because I don't like them. Do not like knives like that. Okay, so then that's this is going to be, I mean, depending on what how you arrange your papers will determine whether you have it flip like this or lit like this. I'm wondering if that is straight though. Does that look straight? I'm going to trim that. I feel like it might not be straight. So let's just go on this other side of the score line and try that again. I feel better about that. Okay. All right. Close that thing up. I'm a clumsy person, so okay. So now I waited to cut my corners just because I wanted to kind of aesthetically see what looked good with my papers in terms of the depth of the tag shape. So let's go ahead and do this one first, because the second one with all that beautiful, these beautiful red accents, I want to use as the one that we glue down as a tuck spot. So I didn't even cut the edges off of this. Oh my goodness. Pardon me. Let me do that with all 4 of these papers really quick and I'll be right back. Okay. I was able to do all 4 of them at the same time with the precision trimmer. I can't do that with the other one. So now we're going to cover. So I want this to be on whatever flap I have on top. I think I want this flap. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this extra paper. Oh my goodness gracious. It's kind of hard to get all of that. You could shrink your pages or print more to a page if you wanted to do this differently, but I think I'm going to just trace around this here just to make it easier. Okay, so I'm just going to do that just there and there. And then obviously we'll just cut from there, from here to here. So let me grab the small trimmer. I switched this where the scoring blade is versus the cutter, so now I'm all confused. Okay, so where's the end of that line? We want that right there. Hopefully I got that right. think something's crooked because that line was crooked on that paper. But we will deal with this as we need to. Okay, so let's bring this back over. Now I could do that and have it on this right side. So I just flipped it, and that's the other benefit of not cutting your tag shapes yet. It's just that there's more here. Well, no, there's really not more. It's about the same. It's not too far off, but I think I prefer it to open on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that looks nice and evenly fit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all my pieces, and then we'll ink and glue all at the same time. So now let's work on this one. So I thought this would be fun to go on the base. So I think I only had to use one paper on the sample. So I'm hoping that is the case with this as well. Just one 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So there's that. And then this is kind of what I say is like the cheater way. It's the easy way. And then just move it up like this so that you can get your bottom one actually. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna complicate this. So I'm just gonna make a pencil line here. And we're gonna bring over the cutter again. Did I get all my measurements? No, I did not. Silliness, silliness. Yes, I did. Okay. Okay, so that is the tag base piece. And what I did on the other one is I just used the remainder of this for that other, the other bit. So let's look at this again. So it's this way. So this is going to go here. This is going to go here. Oh, that's so pretty. And so we could kind of get in some of this. I don't really want that because it feels out of place, but we could do that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this as well. Of course, you could easily measure, but this is easier for me, honestly. So, but you do what is comfortable for you, as always. I'm sorry, I can't make this any easier to see because it's already in my gut because of just the depth of my table space here. So, and then another cut here. Oh, yeah. Oh. False alarm. So we had two of our grandkids over yesterday, our 13-year-old Kenzie and 8-year-old Josiah, and we played the silliest games. We played Dude Perfect game that I bought Josiah for Christmas, and then we played this other one called Abduction, like duck abduction. Oh my gosh. Abduction was a little frustrating for me. I have a hard time with games, but it was fun. And then we went to dinner, which my husband and I don't go out, so it was really lovely to take the kids out. So I'm going to go ahead and ink these 3 pieces up, and then we'll come back and glue them on. Oh, the other thing that we did, the boys were outside. My husband and Josiah were outside in the cold. It's very cold here right now, and so they were outside doing stuff, and they had a fire out there, and Kenzie and I were in here doing watercolor, which was really, really nice. Really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all of these on. So this one's going to go here, and then obviously I'm going to close that so I get that on the outside. So let me just do that real quick. Okay, this is the last piece. I was just thinking, I wonder if one could double this whole thing so that each of these flaps was a pocket. Wouldn't that be cool? I bet you could. I might have to try that off camera. I've got a little bit of an overhang here, so I'm just going to trim it. But anyway, I did a watercolor. I've never painted gladiolas, and they're a beautiful flower. And really my style to paint. I love painting flowers that have that really strong impactful kind of center and whatnot. So that's that. So again, it could go like that. I actually feel like in this case, it should go like this and that be a reveal. So I was thinking about, like, it would be cool to do a closure with this with magnets, but if I did that, I would need to cover these because I need to be able to put a magnet underneath the top paper. So we're not going to do that, but let's go ahead and ink this around. I still got white showing, but I'm not going to fret about it. Let me just ink around all this just to finish off that grungy vintage look. The other thing that I did is I just left, well, this is the one, yeah, this is going to be a tag just like the sample, but I didn't put anything on the back because, again, I thought, what perfect writing space. So we got a little bit of an overhang there. I'm not going to worry about that. I feel a little nub there, but it's not a huge issue. So we are good. So now basically is all you're going to do is you could decide, I really like that. I really, really like that. I think I'm going to do that. I just feel like these are samey papers, but they're really not. They're part of the same design. But on my prototype, I did a belly band. And I'm wondering if we want to do that again, just to stay in line with the video. But I don't have another piece of paper. I'm not sure how I ended up with enough to do a belly band on the other one and not on this one. I'm going to reach in here and see if I've got a piece of vellum we can use. Just a second. I think I do. I think I do. Yes, I have this vellum. We could make a vellum bottom pocket here, which would be fun. So I think I would like to do that. I think I actually want to do a belly band. I'm changing my mind. I can change my mind, can't I? This is that tea stain paper that I use all the time, in case you're new to these parts. It is from Ruby and Pearl. It is a background page in her Beautiful Birds kit, and I absolutely love it. It's, oh, that was not straight. Oh my goodness. It's just a really nice tea dyed color, and it's great for backing papers and for doing things like this. So our tag is only, what did we say, 3 and, where's our template? Our tag is only 3 3/4 inches wide, so we don't want our belly band to be too overwhelming. So I think I'll go 2 inches. So I'm just going to go like that. Okay. And then it is 6 3/4 inches high. So I will go ahead and open that up and cut this down to 6 3/4. Now the other, not 5 3/4. Oh my goodness gracious. What happens when I talk and do something else? Okay, so I also think it would be fun to round everything, obviously, but the top. Okay. Oh, and I need to trim that just a smidge because we're not quite to the top of that paper. So I'm just going to risk it and just cut it by hand. That might be a mistake. More. Goodness. And then that was too much. I can see it already. Oh man, I gotta do that again. That's what happens when I shortcut things. Let's just do this proper, okay? 2 inches wide. I'm just gonna mark it so I get it exactly in the right spot. So I'm just going to put that right there, and then I'll just mark it with my pencil and we'll be accurate. I love using vellum for belly bands because you don't lose the beauty of what is underneath. So it's really a cool way to introduce vellum into a project, which I love. My printer is not having any trouble, but I am using the heavy vellum, as I've mentioned. Broke my other printer putting in the other vellum. It just did something to the inside of the printer. It got jammed and I got all the paper out, but it was never the same after that. It messed up everything. So I'm not going to try that again. Okay, so we're going to put that belly band right there, okay? It's not even. It's not even. That's okay. Here we go. Let's go ahead and glue this on top and bottom. I like to use Barely Arts for vellum. I don't even find that I have to spread it out, so that's been my experience anyways. And I'm going to turn it this way so I can get it level to the top, and then whatever happens at the bottom, it is what it is. Okay, that's pretty good. Pretty good. So then we can slide something in there. In fact, we've got some pre-made stuff here, so let me, oh, where did I put all that? Over here. Okay, so we've got to put some smaller things in here, but these are some images that I thought would be pretty with this paper. So I have to cut this down because it is too wide and it is too tall. So let's do that really quick. This one would also be really pretty. This one is, I know, is from Clay Block Creation, so that one should not need any, needs to be a little bit narrower, but not much. I wish that she had done some ephemera with this kit, but she did not this time. So there's no tags or anything like that. You have to just resize your images so that you get that effect. So I'm going to go ahead and round the corners on the flaps, the bottom, well, probably not the bottom, maybe just the flaps and the cards, and I'll be right back. It's always tickles me when people love the digitals and they go and they give business to the creator. Simone did that. She commented and said she went and purchased the kits to make to use the same things that I'm using, which is really cool because I love supporting creators. So I'm just going to slide this in here, and then I can't put anything on those because of the flips, but that's really beautiful. So you've got two full back writing spaces. You've got these for writing space. I might cover these on the next one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this next time. I might make them all decorative on the one that we're going to glue down, which is our next one. So, and I'll speed through some of the initial parts so that we can get to the variations. So that is that. Am I missing anything? I will decorate. Oh, we need to cut the tag shape. I want to show you that, right? I pull those out. So this is my little nifty little cheat template. So I'm just going to find one that fits for this because I put that belly band on. So I'm just going to use that one. And we missed that belly band, so that was a good call on that. So that's what she looks like. And so let's stick those back in there, and then we'll move on to the second one so I can show you the variations. I'll probably change the measurements on these, maybe just to make it more interesting. We'll see. I am changing these measurements to 7.5. We're going to make a larger tag. Okay, so we're going to go 7.5, and then that means we can also vary our other dimensions. So I hope that this doesn't throw you off. You know, as with most projects, you have to kind of play around. So if you see here, we've got an extra, what is that, a half of an inch or an inch? Let's see what that is. So we can change. So it's about an inch, less than an inch. So I think that I'll use that on the center. So I think I'll leave the other flaps the same dimension. So we're going to do our first score at 3.5. Yeah, since we made it taller, we're going to make it wider. So we're going to go to 4 inches because we've got plenty of room to do that. So we're going to score this one at that point. So I guess I'm really not speeding up because I want to talk to you about the changes, because I know sometimes that can be hard to get your mind around. Like, It's safer to just follow exactly along, but you can kind of think outside of the box too. So I actually like that. It's, oh, got a bunch of ink there. It's okay. It's just barely a little bit hanging over there. So we're going to play around with our dimensions this way as well. So we're just gonna play. So I think on, so again, because we're not using a directional paper, we've just got brown cardstock, we can flip this any way we want. It's not going to matter which direction. So we did 1 inch on the other one, 1 inch and 1.5. So that's 1 inch. So let's go clear over here. Let's just live on the wild side, okay? So I'm going to trim this. I'm going to score this one from here to here. Okay, and I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to do the same thing. Again, it's just easier because of my cutter to do that and flip it over. So that means I'm bringing this down and doing this other end. Okay. Okay, so those are those score lines, a little bit different. And then on the other one, I think that I'm just going to go slightly higher than that. So I think I'll go in 1/4 of an inch. Okay. It doesn't make visually the exact dimensions you choose don't really matter because, oh, that wasn't very off at all. Oh, I need to change that. Let's go down a little more on that one actually, rather than bigger. So I'm going to go down another bit. I don't know what to tell you. That was crazy. I didn't have enough, and it doesn't matter because I'm cutting that off. So let's talk about what I did actually do there. I encourage you to play though, okay? So I went an extra 3/8 of an inch, but I had only done 1 1/4 inches, so that was not quite enough. So now we are at 1 5/8. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark it because that measurement is very hard for me. So 1 5/8. I'm just going to hold that in this rough position. And what did I say? 3/8 or 5/8? Oh my goodness gracious. 5/8. Holy Toledo. 1 5/8 right there. Okay. Do that last persnickety score line, and then we're done with that. We can start cutting. I will speed through that because it's you don't need to see that again. So I will be right back. Actually having a lot better success with the scissors. So do you, okay? I am way more comfortable with scissors overall, so you do not have to use a craft knife. So let's see how that worked out. Yeah, so you still, what you're after here, in my opinion, is that you get that little bit of a variation where you've got one is taller than the other, wider than the other. So got a little bit of something there bugging me. Let me just nip that. There we go. Okay. So let's cover this baby. I'm going to cut into this other paper because I want to have, I think I want to have this script on the very front panel. So this was, that was that one. So this one is the one I'm covering now because I really want to kind of grab that black, but not the flowers again, if I can help it. We might get a little bit of the flowers. Maybe we will move it over. I think we will move it over like that so we don't get the flower. If you want the flower, you can have the flower though. Okay. These are beautiful images. This is the Harmony kit that I mentioned. I can't tell you the seller off the top of my head, but it will be linked. It's called Harmony, and I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Okay, so this is our last cut, and then we'll start gluing. Are we good now? Now we're too long. How did we get too long? I can't really cut the sliver with that trimmer, so I'm just gonna risk it and just trim off a sliver off the bottom. Okay, let me ink these panels and then we'll get them glued on. Okay, before I forget, I've done a couple videos and completely forgot to mention this, but I purchased all my seam binding from My Scrap Cabin, and Erin over there sent me a message asking if I would like to use a coupon code on my channel and share with you guys a coupon code. So if you check out My Scrap Cabin, that is where I get all my seam binding. Very, very fast delivery in the United States. I don't know what that looks like anywhere outside of the United States, but you can get 10% off. The coupon code is B.Reborn and the number 10. So that's B-R-E-B-O-R-N 10. I will also put that on the screen in a moment. So yeah, that 10% and every little bit helps. So it's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and start the gluing process here. It was a chilling 30 or 26 degrees this morning, so I did not go out for my walk yet today. I'm hoping that I can go this afternoon and get my steps in, because I didn't get any exercise in yesterday because we had the grandkids all day, which is okay. I mean, I did close to 62,000 steps last week, so I feel like a freebie day is in order. So, and I'm doing Weight Watchers, so I was able to figure out how I could eat with the family at Applebee's, and I was able to eat, and I only used 9 points. I never use all my points, so it's pretty epic. So that is lovely. I'm loving that. I can't decide which I like better. I think this way, because I can put an image on here just to give it a little bit more life. So again, this is the one we want to make into a tuck spot. So we're going to still go ahead and cut our tag shapes. We're probably going to pick a bigger part of the template here since we've got more space. So we could easily do that one. So let's do that. The only bad thing is you lose, since we went away from that. We went away from that edge with our covering our cardstock. We're not seeing that, so I'm going to just trim this off just so it doesn't look weird. That little bit of brown that I see. Okay, so there we go. So pretty. I love this paper. It's just the right amount of grunge, mixed media, and color. Look at that color. Absolutely stunning. So this one we're going to, I'm not going to do it on camera, but basically, I think what I'll do is I'll close this one with some seam binding. Let's do that though, while I've got you. So I've got some gray seam binding here, and I think that would be a great closure. So I'm just going to get some of it off of here, and then we can see what we're doing. I don't want it to go, I want it to tie off to the side, so let's just play around here. I just want to make sure I have enough. So we go like that. We should have enough. So I'm just going to pinch this here so that I know where my center is, which is where the rest of this is going to go on the back, if that makes any sense. So I just did that. I'm just putting that upside down. Not that it really matters. I just don't want to lose my center. Okay. So I'm going to go, I need to kind of look on this side to see where I'm at. So I'm going to go up about here. So I'm going to make a pencil mark so I don't keep losing that. spot, and I'm going to use a little bit of white glue because I find that it doesn't take much to hold the seam binding, and this is going to be glued down. Well, it's not going to be glued down on all sides, but it is going to be glued. It's going to be a tuck spot. Okay, so now I'm going to pick that up and set that on there. Give it a push, a smoosh, smush, smush, smush. There we go. Okay, and then now we can go ahead and tie this. And hopefully we have enough. It was a little bit chintzy on my part. And what's cool about this, you can put a dangle on it or something if you wanted to. Just kind of tying it off. Sorry for that flipping and flopping. I'm going to just tie it here. Oh, awesome. I love it. I always cut way too much of that. I might end up wasting it. I don't keep all the little pieces. This I will save, but okay, there we go. Oh my gosh, I love it. I will flip that. I had it reversed. I'll put that other one on the outside. So basically is all we need to do to finish off the video is to go ahead and decide what we want to go behind it, because when this gets glued into the journal, I can glue it just here and at the bottom, so I have the full height of this space. So this is actually perfect right there. So we do obviously need to trim it down because this is right now, well, it is actually 5 1/4 exactly. So technically I would not have to because my pages are 5 1/4. So isn't that lovely? It is lovely. So let's use both of these, and I'm just going to round. I'm going to make them, let's see, they are the same size. So I'm going to round the corners and ink them, and then we'll finish off with just a final ta-ta for now, and then you guys can come back for the next video. I did a kind of a poll, or YouTube was calling it a quiz, but asking if anybody would be interested in me doing a full, creating a journal from beginning to end, meaning selecting papers, selecting signature pages, cover, binding, adding ephemera, all of that stuff, and I'm happy to do that. So I'm thinking about how much more time I want to give for that poll. Right now it's predominantly everybody's saying yes, but I want to wait till we get a few more votes before I proceed. But I am thinking about using, I'm tossed up. So I bought a kit a long time ago from Old Osina. It's called the Dressing Room, and it is this kit of these beautiful little dresses, and I've been wanting to make, I made a folio out of it once, but I wanted to come back and do a journal. So I thought maybe we would do a 2 signature journal together using that paper. So I'm really drawn to it. It reminds me of my Emily, and so I feel like that is something that I'd like to do. So these are exactly the same size, so they're just going to go. I could chop one off, which I might. In fact, I am going to do that just with you guys here. And again, guys, if the video gets too long, you can always speed me up. I know some of you, well, many of us don't have time. I often speed people up. If it doesn't distort the message, I will speed people up so that I can watch more. So I can learn more, so I can watch more, and give that creator support. So you can speed me up to 1.5 times the normal rate, and I don't sound like a deranged chipmunk, as I like to say. But that is it, guys. We made 2 on camera. This is for the winter journal. I think I'm calling it Snowy Winter or Frosty Winter or something. But you can check out that playlist out. Everything will be linked in the description box below. And if you don't see something, so as we build more and more stuff for the journal, sometimes the supply list gets too long for social media, so I have to put it over on my blog, but I always link that below in the description box. So I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.